Since the start of the One Piece TCG, the meta is always shifting. Now with the introduction of the new ban list, the meta's flipped upside down. Also, the new set Royal Blood has just been released. This has left a lot of people with the question, what is the next One Piece TCG meta? On this new series Competitive Guides, we're going to take a deep dive into every single color in the One Piece card game. We're going to find the best leaders for every color. No, not you, Purple Shanks! And we're going to play them on the ranked sim. This will help players who want to play more competitively, play at locals, play with friends, or maybe you just want to get a few more wins on the sim. If you love deck profiles, you need to make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get into the deck profile and today's color. Episode 3 of Competitive Guides, spinning the wheel to let you know what color we're going over. We've already done yellow, we've already done red, and now we are looking at, this one's a nail biter, it looks like green. Green means go. It's go time into the deck profile. The room's a bit of a mess, you're going to have to ignore that, but we're getting into the deck profile here for competitive green. Let's load up the deck. It's yours truly, Jewelry Bonney. I think this was kind of expected for green. You know, it's probably just the best green deck in the format, hands down. I did green, yellow, law for yellow because I knew Bonney would be green. Yellow is just at such a point where it's not good, and I think into the meta, I think Kid's good, and like maybe Zoro and stuff, but there's no doubt about Bonney. There's no doubt about what Bonney can do in this format. I mean, it's good into a lot of the decks. It's in the top 4 to 5 for sure. In all the color pool, we know which color is the worst, which is probably the yellow, which we've already gone over. We also did red, so if you want a competitive guide on red, there's Shanks out there for you. Definitely check those out. Anyways, here's Bonney. When opponent attacks, once per turn, tap 1 Dawn, rest one of your opponent's leaders or characters, so basically you negate one of their swings in total. It's just a better Shanks effect. I mean, it does cost a Dawn, but it stops anything in the game. You can stop a 10 drop if they do things incorrectly, or if things just happen to be in that order where they have 2 10 drops, you stop at least 1, only take 1, and then get out of the leader swing. We have strong cards that kind of pair up with this effect, like Cavendish, which gives us 2 active Dawn. So it turns 2 of our rested Dawn into active Dawn on play or when attacking, meaning we can use this over and over and over. We took this list off One Piece top decks, off one of the Bonney deck lists, so just know this is not my original deck list. We got it off of there, and it's one that I want to play around with, maybe change by the end of the video, which I always say, because we will do a little tweaks and changes for what we think is best for the ranked sim right now. We have 3 of the Scratchman Apu. This is a searchable 2K counter for the Supernova Searcher Jewelry Bonney. Our other 2K counters are going to be this other Apu, just because, again, it is searchable, and being a searchable target makes it very good, having 7 2Ks that are searchable. We also have 4 of the Tashigi, which basically says when one of your green characters other than Tashigi would be removed from play, you may rest this character instead, meaning that if they have any removal effects for any of our cards, because we are a mono green leader, none of them can be KO'd. This card just becomes rested, and when it becomes rested, it hits the effect of this Rosinante blocker that says if one of your other rested characters would be KO'd, you may instead trash this character. So if they choose a different target, right, and KO like Carrot, then we rest Tashigi, and now they try to kill Tashigi, we can just destroy Rosinante. It's a little trickle-down effect. It's not the greatest and very niche in situations, but the Rosinante also has that just blanket protection. We run Killer for a draw 1 on block. If you have 3 more characters, draw 1 card, and it's a blocker that can be cheated out by our Eustace Captain Kid. These are going to be our big boss monsters. The Eustace Captain Kid, you know what this does, just blockade, stop everything, you're chilling. Then we have the 10-drop Doflamingo. This is great into every single deck in the format other than Marshall D. Teach being a 10-10 brick, if you're going against Marshall D. Teach. Other than that, though, this card is unparalleled. We have the 8-drop Rosinante as a 1-of. I actually really like this card in Bonney right now because of the strong 5 format. Basically, to give you an explanation, opponent's turn, if this character is rested, your active 5-cost characters cannot be KO'd by effects. So if we play out this 8-cost, using the secondary effect that says on play you may rest this character, play up to 1 green character with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So we play out the Smoker, Carrot, or the Cavendish, which we've already been over, from our hand. Basically, they cannot be KO'd, giving us another blanket protection. Now, we also run the Hody Jones as our last... No, wait, we have one more boss monster. This is going to be like the primary boss monster, though. A 7-8 that rests 2 of our opponent's either characters or Dawn, meaning it really helps in the purple matchups, any matchup that plays a lot of blockers, the mirror match. I mean, just so many things that really help with so many counter events going strong in the meta. Helps into Shanks, helps into just basically anything. Resting 2 of those, add the top of your life to your hand, which we're not scared of, especially if we have a Captain Kid on the field. We are not scared to take life aggressively. That's basically what this deck does, except against blue because of Pudding. And then it also has Rush. To finalize our boss monsters, we're running the 9-drop 11k Shanks. A better stat line than the Doflamingo, really helps in the Blackbeard matchup just for the stat line specific. Being a 9-11, we can play on curve. curve. Hold up, don't put those two numbers next to each other. On play, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters, basically removing anything on the board as long as we have on play effects. Again, we always bring up the Blackbeard matchup because it is so prevalent, and I think this card's great into anything else other than that, and maybe Zoro, because Zoro, you don't really need to KO the rested characters. With a strong effect like this, you're better freezing them or running them over with our 5 cost or our Hody Jones to really just wipe out their board and starve them out. We're also running the 5-drop carrot, which, as I was talking about, freezes one of our opponent's 7 cost or lower characters, helping a lot in the aggro matchups. Now, for another 5-drop spot, oh, this is on play and when attacking, by the way, and then another 5-drop spot, because we run 11 5 costs, which is the same amount of 2Ks as we're running, which is really wild, but it makes sense in this format. Banish, 5-drop 7K. Activate main set up to one of your Dawn as active. You cannot set up Dawn as active through other character effects for the rest of this turn, meaning that when we use the Smoker, we need to use the Cavendish first. So if we do have a Cavendish and a Smoker, we need to make sure we're using them in the proper sequencing. So just keep that in mind, because that is going to be very important in your green, in any matchup. I was going to say in your green matchups as the green player, that's going to be very important for this deck. Finally, we have the Bartolomeo blocker, which can also be cheated out with use as Captain Kidd, which we've already been over because you already know about it. Bartolomeo, if a character is rested from your own effect, meaning Kidd rests itself, Doflamingo, Don Quixote Rosinante rests itself, Bonney rests itself, Tashigi would only be on your opponent's turn, it's on your turn, but basically draw one trash one. It helps us filter, especially when you're running so many bricks in the deck. We're running, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 11, 12, 13, 14 bricks in the deck in total. 17 bricks in the deck in total, and I'm probably missing something. So this definitely helps just to filter the hand, and also helps, something else to help with that is the 0 cost event, basically being a 2K counter with any character on the board, so it can give any of these big boss monsters that we can't use in the moment a 1K counter, and this itself is a 2K counter with an amazing trigger to rest one of your opponent's cost 4 lower characters. Okay, that was a mouthful, that was a lot to say, but this is going to be Jewelry Bonney, the competitive guide. We go deep diving into some ranked sim, giving you a full overlay in every single game on the thought process of a competitive player. I think we're right now, through this whole series, we're around like 60 million berry bounty. We're at 94.6 million berry bounty, my bad. So we're just slowly climbing our way up. I think as long as we can keep going competitive, which we have 3 more colors to do, which will be going out next week, because as you can see, my room's a mess, and we're going to Chicago Collecticon, so I will not be able to do it until Tuesday or Wednesday of next week for another competitive deck guide, but we're going to do green. Next week, we'll do the other colors. Anyways, let's get into the rank sim and see how we do today with Jewelry Bonney. Looks like we're going to be playing Shanks for this first matchup here, and this hand's definitely going to be strong. Is it going to be the best? I'm not quite sure. You may see our bounty went up. There's going to be a little video from yesterday going up for that. They choose to go first, so we can put down our Searcher or the Rosinante. I think we'll keep. We'll see what happens here. I think having the Searcher and the Rosinante is going to be good. Just having the Searcher in general is just always going to be strong in the early game. So they choose not to play anything down. This will kind of save us a life if we put down the blocker now, or we can take more life aggressively if we choose not to. I'm kind of unparalleled because 2, this will be 4, so it makes more sense to do this on a 4 Dawn turn if they don't develop any bodies on the board. So I think what we're going to go for is the Rosinante, just because this would be our 4 play, and then 4 play, hold up, that sounds kind of funny. 6 at us, we're just going to take aggressively. It looks like they may have a Red Hawk here, so we're probably going to just choose not to swing at them at all in this situation. And what we can do is actually play out the Bonney, because if we swing in for 5, we're not going to get anything out of it. So we could just search with the Bonney, force them into our board, and then play down another blocker. We could also just go for Bonney into Tashigi, and the next turn play down Cavendish, search from the top. We'll have, 3 Dawn then. We can only have 2 to use, so then we play out this. All right, that looks like the math. All right, so mathematically, this makes the most sense to 3-1, and then next turn Cavendish, have 2 Dawn back. We'll have 3 Dawn total. We're going to take aggressively. We don't have any 2Ks in hand, so that's kind of okay with us. And now is when things get fun. So they leave 4 Dawn active, so make sure to use our characters first. We're going to search the top of our deck. We already have a Captain Kidd, so we're going to grab a 2K Eustace Captain Kidd. We're going to play down Cavendish to get 2 Dawn. We're going to play down Bonney. Do we search again? Run it. I'm not scared to search again. We're going to grab a blocker for our Kidd. We're going to go for the Bartolomeo. We usually would go for the killer, but the Bartolomeo is going to let us draw 1 trash one a few times because we have so many targets that rest themselves. And then we're just going to pass again. So now is the turn where we can, they're not developing anything. They're just hitting us a few times. We're not too stressed about it. They could easily bend Beckman this turn, and then we can play it on a carrot. So what we can do here is actually just let this go. not really worry about it. They don't have anything else on the board. It looks like Ben Beckman's going to come down and get rid of our Cavendish. We're just going to go for Tashigi, saving our Cavendish. We're going to feel very safe there. The cool part, he just types whoops in the chat. Yeah, that is a little oopsie whoopsie. So now we can already go down for Eustace Captain Kidd and then swing in for 6. Stand 2 Dawn is active, and I feel like we're kind of taking this game away at this point. We will have the Eustace Captain Kidd, so I don't think we need our Bonney effect. What we'll do is search the top 5 again just to grab more counter. We'll put 1 on the Eustace Captain Kidd. We can rest itself. Is there anything we really want to play out? I like just having the searcher. I think we choose no targets here and then just pass. We can't swing with leader effect because there's nothing to do there. So I think we're in a safe spot because now we have the blocker. If they split between the two, we're kind of chilling. They get rid of the Tashigi here, which is totally okay with us. They can swing 9 into the Eustace Captain Kidd, but it's almost like we have the Dawn active because nothing even really came out of it because we have Eustace Captain Kidd. The cool thing is if we would have had the Dawn, we could have rested the Ben Beckman and then gone with a 10 drop and all that stuff, but no need at this point, in my opinion. So the cool thing that we can do here is we could play down Hody Jones. He does have the 2 Dawn active. We only need to rest 1 of the Dawn. We could even rest both the Dawn and just go straight in the face here. So we may actually do that because they've been showing us the Red Hawk for a while now, so I think getting rid of that wouldn't be bad. And we can take the life aggressively. We're not too worried about it. So we know we're going to put a Dawn there. We can swing in for 6 at face, restand 2 more Dawn. And then what we could actually do is play down the 5-drop Smoker on top of this Bonney. Just say, oh well, no Bonney. Restand a Dawn is active. Literally, like, just go crazy right now. So it's just, is that the best play? I think just continuing to search and putting on some aggression here would definitely be the better play. Just to continue getting through the deck. We could go for another 8-drop Kidd just in case they find a way to get rid of this one. We have a backup option. And he just says GG's. On to the next one. GG's. He had 2 10-drop Shanks and he calls it quits. There's not much you can do there, I guess. GG's to our opponent. I think he had a good hand. I don't know why you called it so quick, but hey, we got the win with the Bonney. I think you can kind of see where we were going with it. Just keep it going, keep it going. We were all good. Purple Luffy. So we are getting some actual good matchups today. I like that. So you can see the bounty up in the top right. We're going to make it disappear for a minute. We don't need it on the screen the whole time. It's a little distracting for me. We're going to choose to take first, of course, because of the matchup we're playing. 2 Hody Jones is amazing, but 2 Carrots is not the best. A Shanks is pretty good, but we're playing in the late game. We wouldn't have anything until we get to that late game. I don't know if that's the best or the worst or anything at all. We're going to mulligan. It can only get worse, and it does, of course. So we get nothing to do on our first turn, which is totally okay. They're going to go on 2, usually not doing anything, especially in a Bonney matchup. I guess a Law is okay, but I'm saying, like, you wouldn't play a Nico Robin Searcher or something like that, because I'm just going to swing into it. You're going to take your own life, so I'm not too stressed about it. The cool thing is we can develop the Bartolomeo because there's no reason to play anything else. They don't have anything else on the board at the moment. We could also just go for the Rosinante, but that's not going to do much for us. We could go for the Rosinante just in case, because the Carrot, we have another Rosinante in case something happens. We'll swing 5 in a face, and then I think we're going to go for the Barto, just because if we find into this Rosinante later, because we know we're going to play Carrot on the next turn, and then don't really know what we're going to do after that. They swing in for 5. We're going to take, just because we need to find options. We do find the Cavendish, which is going to be very, very good for what we need to do. So Cavendish, and then we're going to swing 6 at our opponent, leaving 1 active. They have the Eustace Captain Kidd, so we should be safe here. Play down, swing in 6, and we have 1 active to rest down the Eustace Captain Kidd now. So now is when we actually get to use our leader effect. You saw last game, too many people always leave a Dawn active, and the thing is you don't have to unless there's something you're actually worried about. Right now they're going to be on 7 Dawn, which is going to be very good. We're going to rest down their leader, and I think we're just going to take this as well. I don't know in this matchup. This matchup's kind of difficult. The cool thing is if they play down a 7-drop Sanji, you know, we should be safe to kind of save our Cavendish just in case. So I think we do take aggressively. We get the Tashigi for later on in the game. We will also have this Carrot that we can develop to hold down the Eustace Captain Kidd, which I don't think is bad. So we know we're going to freeze down Carrot. We can swing in for 6 at our opponent, get 2 more Dawn back. Then we can swing in for 5, and then we could play out the Tashigi, go ahead and have the Tashigi on the board. But I think with us being able to spam the board maybe possibly next turn if we get a 5 cost with Rosinante, or playing down the Shanks, which is going to be very strong on curve, we may not want to. Maybe having 2 blockers to keep the Cavendish alive may be better in this situation, so I think that's what we're going to go for. We're going to swing 6 into face here, and then play down a Rosinante blocker just to make sure our Cavendish is safe. Past turn, they only have 1 swing at us. They have to swing the Sangoro first to get the draw. If not, they don't get the draw. They can go Luffy Taro, we block. Oh, he calls it quits. He calls it quits. He leaves as well. GG's to our opponent. As you can see here, holy cow, I don't want to see all my stats. It's not what I was trying to see here. Let's not show you guys my stats and how horrible I am at the game. What is going on? There we go. All right. No, not all the stats. Okay. All right. There we go. So we're up to 151.4 million berry bounty. I think we just had him cooked because next turn he was going to swing in with Luffy Taro. We rest the Sangoro. He has an amazing hand here to keep the game going though with the 9-drop Lin Lens. Then we play out Shanks, and then we play out Shanks. We did have dual Shanks, which are going to be very important on that 9 Dawn. We keep the Cavendish alive, get 2 Dawn back, swing in 6, 6, and 6. Freezing a character, KOing a character, getting 2 Dawn back. He plays down 9 Mom, gets rid of Carrot, puts it to the bottom of our life. Next turn, we play down another Shanks, remove one of their bodies. We get 2 Dawn back. Like, I think we were in the leader's seat there. We're loading up into this next game, and as we do, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. We're almost to 1,000 where I can start streaming these games for you guys, and that's been honestly my biggest goal. We get Shanks again. We're up to a 255 million berry bounty that we're going against, and I think we mulligan this hand. I don't think Carrot's the move or for what we need. We're going first so we can play Tashigi on curve, which is going to be good. We just pass over on the first one. Not much going on there. We're going to move this over, and ooh, getting a Searcher early may not be bad, but again, we could save it. We could also go for the Tashigi, get the Tashigi down early, and the next turn play the Carrot, but then we don't have much to do on, like, we won't be able to stop their leader swings or whatever they do. I'm kind of at a impasse here because we're not even going to swing 5 more than likely. If we play the Tashigi, we could swing in for 6 and then play down our Bonney blocker. We could also just go for the Rosinante. I think we're going to go for the Rosinante here. Swing in for 6 to start. It stops the Red Hawk so we don't do things out of order just in case they had the Red Hawk. They do take aggressively here. We play down the Rosinante blocker and pass. I think Rosinante is just going to be better than Tashigi right now. It's just a safe option. They swing in for 6 themselves. We're just going to take aggressively. 3 Dawn up for a Sanji. Sanji's not really going to be a problem for what we're trying to do, so I don't think we're too worried about it, but we don't have an answer to it right now. So what we could do now is go for the Bonney blocker as a pseudo blocker. They don't have any Dawn up for a Red Hawk or anything, so keep that in the back of your mind. We can play down Carrot on the next turn because we won't need to do the Hody Jones. So we'll have 7 Dawn, we'll have 6 at life, and then the Carrot on the next turn, so we know we're not playing Carrot this turn. We could also go for the safety on the removal. So what we could do is Tashigi and Bonney choose not to swing in. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go Tashigi, Bonney, pass, which may seem crazy, but now next turn what we can do is play down Carrot, freeze this character, so we're going to rest the leader, we're going to take the swing and call it a day. They have 5 here for the Luffy. They're going to swing in for another 7. We don't have a kid, so I'm going to block out of this aggressively at this position. What we can do now is play down the Carrot, freeze their character. We can search having a pseudo blocker on the board. So we can swing in for 5 on the Sanji. It at least gets us something going there. Now that we know we're not going to be freezing the Sanji, they did play the rush option instead. We're going to search the top 5 cards of our deck, grabbing a 2K counter because that's the only possible target right there. We should have probably stacked that in a proper order, but we chose not to. We're going to freeze this and pass. That at least lets us have the 1 extra Dawn to rest something down if they play things out of order. They could easily go for the Beckman, but Beckman could not do anything because of Tashigi. And then we can counter out to save the Tashigi. We have a ton of counter right now. I mean, holy cow, 8, 9K counter. You don't see that too much with a Bonney player. So if they play something big that goes rested like a dragon, we would also be safe. They should go 5 into the Jewelry Bonney here. I think that's going to be the best option just to stop our continuous draw power. But it really depends on how the Shanks player is doing it. They could also play the Beckman, choose something else, and then we rest Tashigi. They could also, ooh, I like that. I like that play. Rayleigh's going to be pretty good here. We're going to rest down the Rayleigh, though. They did do things out of order, in my opinion. So now this Rayleigh's going to be rested. So what we're going to do is 9 Shanks. So we're going to swing in. We're not even going to swing in for 5. We're just going to swing in here, freeze down the Luffy, and then play down a 9 Shanks. 9 Shanks is just going to pop the Silver's Rayleigh because they did choose to do things out of order, and then pass. Because obviously the swing is just going to be nullified by the leader effect. So we're playing in the late game per usual. They could play a 10-drop Rush Shanks here, which would kind of suck. We don't really have a great answer for that character right now, especially knowing we already put the Shanks down, but because they did things out of order, I think that was the best to get a stronger position in the game. And what we could always do is just swing 21 into it if we really needed to. So they're going to choose to go 8. We are going to counter out. We will give them one of the Apus here. We're going to give them this Apu and a 1K counter. I think we'd rather keep it. We probably should have done 2 2Ks, honestly. They played on the Beckman. Beckman's going to be very good here. So what we will have to do is probably take our own life and then start getting some cards out of hand. It does suck for what we're trying to do, but it's just part of the game, you know? So we're going to swing in for 11. This is Battle of the Boards here. We're going to try to take the board because this would be a lot of cards out of hand. So it would need to be 2 2Ks with leader effect. which would also be good for us because what we can do is then go 8 into the Luffy because they already used their leader effect. We could also go 9 into the Beckman and then 6 into the Luffy and then try to get rid of the bigger target, but I think Luffy's going to be worse for us. So I think we'll swing 8 into the Luffy here. It's okay if they counter out. We're just trying to get cards out of hand in all honesty. Having that Rosinante would have been really nice right now, but now we have 10k counter, I guess, if they want to choose to go in at us aggressively. And then we're going to swing 7 at... Do we want to get cards out and starve, or do we want to just take the game? I think at this point we're going to have to start racing them a little bit if we really want to continue the game. We stopped one of the attacks anyways with the leader effect, so there was no reason into not swinging face because one of these attacks is already null and void. So you try to keep your opponent having one character on board, and then you just rest down the leader. So we will go ahead and counter out of this because we can. We have so many cards in hand already. They don't have much that we're really worried about. They played on Rayleigh. They get to remove our character. That does suck for what we're trying to do, but the best part is we can swing in, what is this, 9 at face here, and then totally ignore the Beckman because we will 10 drop Doflamingo off the top. We also have the Hody Jones for later. We have 6k counter. We should be safe with the split if they chose to try to go for game. Again, at this point in the game, we are trying to just race them. So we have to keep that in mind. If they want to remove the Shanks, it's going to be very difficult, especially if they 10 drop. This is going to be a 10k. We just give them 2 cards out of hand. Usually a Bonney's bricked at this point, but we're not, which is really good. And in case you're wondering why we're not swinging, it's because their leader effect. You know, we could have swung with the leader effect first, go ahead and get it out of them, you know, that kind of thing, but I think it's better not to at this point. So they could really race us and put us down to 0 here. I think if we counter out, though, we just lose our board. So we do get the Eustace Captain Kidd, which is going to be very good. So we can, you know, take aggressively, just because that's kind of what we have to do at this point. They played on Lucky Roo of their own. Lucky Roo's not going to do much right now, so what can we do here that makes us safe? 8 and 1 is going to be leaving us 1 for leader effect, so I think we swing in for 5 at face. Just tell them, hey, you decide what we do here. And then we can go in. They just leader effect, so we're going to swing do we clear at board? We have a lot of counter, and we'll have a blocker on the board. We could also go for a Tashigi for the removal side of things. I think the blocker is just stronger at this point. Do we go in for 10? We'll go 10. This will tell us kind of how much counter they have, because if they take, it's telling me, okay, think about this. It's telling me they're not worried about Hody Jones winning them the game, so that would be 7 with 3 Dawn on it. That'd be 11. So they would not lose right now to an 11k swing, or you would just block out, or you would counter out from hand, correct? So they're not worried about the 11k swing. I think they will just probably block out of this 11 anyways, whether it went to board or it went to Lucky. They should just give us the Lucky Roo here. And we're just going to have to hope for survival in this next turn. I think keeping the 2k in hand is going to be just better. We're going to play out Eustace Captain Kidd, rest itself to play out a blocker, and then pass and hope. So this is going to be the very tough position for us and our opponent. We both have pressure on both sides, but we have 2, 4, 6, 7k counter, so we should still be in a very demanding position. They have 9 cards, but we only have 5. They play down Otama. Otama's going to be very strong in this situation. They play down Mulgun. They remove our character. This may be game. So it depends on how their split is, I guess, because we can always rest down their biggest body. So that's going to be 7 or 7. So we're definitely going to rest down the Beckman here. What we can do is counter. Then they have to split between 2 more characters. We should be safe. 2-2 resolve. So now it's gonna be what, 8, 9? Oof. Yeah, we just lose. We just lose in this position. That sucks. Yep, that is just gonna be GG's at that point. Not too much we could have done differently, in my opinion. That was just a good little race there. They beat us to the end. We do lose the match. We go down in some bounty. GG's to our opponent. We're gonna be on to the next one here. Alright guys, I think this is going to be our last game right here, waiting for our opponent to load in. Hopefully we can see it pretty soon. That's the goal. So we're going to be going against a Blackbeard. This is actually going to be a really good matchup. Usually you run Straw Sword for a matchup like this. I think we're going to take second from them just because of who they are and what they do. And I think we mulligan. Cavendish would be nice, but I think we need to find a carrot or something else. Hody Jones is going to be amazing in this matchup. Even if we don't have our own plays, I think we just pass there. There's nothing really to put on the board, sadly. It would be nice to have this just to remove their little searchers, Lafitte's, whatever they get down, but more than likely they would just have a removal option for it, so we choose not to. They choose to swing 6 at us. No need to use the card action. We're going to take aggressively. We are getting a lot of the 10-drop Doflamingos, which is not what you want to see in this matchup at all. So we're going to swing in for, we should have swung in for less. We should not have swung in for 6. Just to go ahead and mention that because we are playing that on the TCG, so that was just a misplay. Last game of the day has to be the worst game of the day. That's usually how it works, isn't it? So we're going to be playing down the TCG. We had our girlfriend just come back in the house. Okay, we're going to play down the TCG and pass. So we definitely could have had down like the Apu earlier, just to have more bodies on the board. It is a 2-3 on the board, so it wouldn't have been horrible. We will have down Cavendish on the next turn, which can be very good. Not having the Dawn did put us in a sticky situation, though. I think we may take again. Let's take. Let's see what happens. Why not? So we're going to be able to swing in here. We are going to play down Cavendish for sure. So Cavendish gets us 2 back. We'll be able to search with our Bonney. So we're going to swing in for just 5 here at face. They should take, I'm assuming, because of the board presence we do have. They should be able to remove this character as well, which is the only issue. But we will have the Tashigi to save us. We'll grab a... 8-drop uses Captain Kidd isn't great in this situation either. We're really just diving in deeper for Hody Jones. We will put it at the top. We definitely don't need the 10-drop Doflamingo, so we're going to put that at the bottom and the carrot up 1 more. So just getting more counter, more bodies to put on the board, and then we will pass the turn. So now we can at least stop the Burgess, we can stop the leader, or we can stop the Doc Q, depending on what they put on the board and in what position, like what did they do. So we're going to not use the Tashigi. We're going to let the Jewelry Bonney go. The Tashigi is going to be our safe option for when they try to remove the Cavendish. So they were trying to bait us in there. They do choose to do Liberation. Liberation removing the Tashigi, so we get to keep our Cavendish at the very least. I don't think we're too worried about Doc Q. They did try to bait us in a little bit. We will probably take again, aggressively. I think that's going to be very safe for us. And they choose not to take us down again. They're going to be going into 9 Dawn. So the cool thing here is we can play down 8-drop Captain Kidd, right? We can swing in for 5 at the Doc Q. They have a bunch of cards in hand. I think we're actually going to go into face. I don't think we're worried about Doc Q at this point because they still need to have some cost-lowering characters first. So 5 in a face. We're going to play down 8-drop Kidd. We're going to swing in for 6. So we play down 8, swing in for 6, just because we need the rested Dawn. That's going to really help in this situation. They can always liberate our Kidd, or they can hit Cavendish, which is why they should have taken actually that first swing. Buddy, come here. You gotta relax, buddy. We're going to rest this to play out... I think we're going to go for Barto. Tashigi definitely wouldn't be bad, but just having the blocker as an option is going to be good. And then we still have the Dawn active, so puts us in a safe spot. Come here, buddy. I gotta go let my cats out. They are being needy. This might not let you in either. Go. Go. Make your choices. In or out. In or out. One or the other. All right. We're back from the cats. They played on Shiryu. Shiryu's going to pop Barto, so Barto wouldn't have done much anyways. We do have a ton of counter to keep this 8-drop Kidd alive, which is going to be very good. They should start leader affecting us this next turn because we do have the 10-drop, so we will be able to rest down their leader and then counter out with 2 2Ks here. Should be putting us in a very safe spot. They should leader effect, going down to 5 cards in hand. Yep, that's going to be very smart. A great turn to start doing so, but we will have the Hody Jones. Could also go Cavendish. We could go wide here. We can also cheat out Tashigi thanks to Kidd. I don't think swinging in on the Burgess would be bad though, because they are going into their 10 Dawn turn. So we're gonna go 5. This will be 9 here. So we'll go in for 5 at life, because that's gonna force a card out of hand. If they take, we swing in for 8, and then we go Hody Jones and swing everything. Basically putting them in a position where they shouldn't take anymore, because then we'll go 9 and then 10 into face, and then we should be in a very safe spot. So it looks like we're going to go in for 9 here on their leader. They're trying to keep their Burgess safe, which I do understand. Now we just play down Hody Jones. We swing in for 9 more, and we win the game. Hey, that's fine with me. Easy, quick win. I guess we will play one more match after this. But yeah, I think that was just our opponent's misplay there. They did not have enough counter. They should not have taken that 5. Very greedy of them. On to the next one. All right, we're joining our last lobby, and it's going to be Boa Hancock. This is going to be a fun little off-meta match. We're at 161 million berry bounties. They're at 167.3, so we should be overtaking them if we win. Let's move this out of the way for you guys. Let's move it out of the way for me, and let's focus on the game here. We're going to be taking on Boa Hancock. As always, like and subscribe, all that jazz. They're choosing which way to go. I think they should take second. I think second's usually better for them, in my opinion, just because you go straight into Law, and then from Law you go into whatever Jozu, and then Jozu you go into whatever 8 cost you play, maybe a 7 cost and swing in for 6. You go into a Red Rock if you need it. They do have just so many great removal options on their side, so they don't have a horrible matchup into what we do. We just need to be able to keep that 1 Dawn active. That's going to be very important in this matchup, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't play Bonney a ton, so I'm not the best Bonney player out there. This is just me as a very, I think, a good player. We're going 1 5. So we'd rather find a Cavendish than a Carrot at the moment, given the board state. This is great for curve though, playing this on 3, going from there, but I think we will mulligan just to search for a Cavendish or a Smoker. We play down the Bonney for 1. That's going to put us in a very safe spot. They shouldn't have any removal options for 2. If they do, that's kind of okay. They usually go with the Searchers. Yep, exactly what we were kind of expecting. I think we will go Cavendish before Smoker just because of the effects of what they do. I think Cavendish is just going to be better to be bounced back to hand, not giving them the idea that we have a brick in hand, and then going from there. Knowing that on 9 Dawn we can play out both of these, they also could just be playing something like a Gravity Blade on our turn, or on their turn. They could also hit just a Red Rock trigger out of life, and then get rid of a 4 cost lower, or Gravity Blade, and get rid of a 5 cost or lower. Because triggers are great in the game of One Piece. So you can't really play around them, you just hope for the best, and there we go. Trying to decide what card to draw with the Sengoku, taking just a moment to decide, maybe ordering things in the proper order. Maybe they're a YouTuber talking to you guys just like this, and they have their own little channel. So, yep, nope, instead they go for the Trafalgar Law blocker, which is going to be really good here. They do have the Law blocker on the board. If we rest down our Bonney, we will not have the ability to rest either of these, and they will just swing into it. So I think I'm just going to swing in for 5. I don't think they're going to play a removal option this early. We may just go in for a Rosinante. Being able to take out their blocker very easily on this next turn is going to be very good. They counter out aggressively as they should. We play down Rosinante and pass. I think we leave the 1 Dawn just to tap down the Law. They're probably going to play down a bounce Law, bounce the Sengoku back to hand. And that's going to be very good for them, putting them back up to 5 cards, drawing 1 extra for leader effect because they bounce characters. It's going to put them on the perfect little spot. There was also merit into maybe not swinging because of that same situation, where if they play the bounce Law, now they get to draw an additional card, filter through, but we did get a 2k out. So it's like there's both sides of it, especially going against Boa, knowing they counter out very aggressively in these matchups. We also do have the Carrot if need be, if they do things out of order. Maybe they Law first, we refreeze down the Law, then we play down the Carrot, tap down that, and then we replay the Carrot on the next turn. Like, there's options. There's tons of options. We're going to rest down the blocker here and just take a 9k in the face. That's totally okay with us. Not too worried about it. We have double Cavendish, so we want to get down Cavendish first, in my opinion. We are going to search out the top 5 of our deck, grabbing probably another Bonney here because we can't grab any of these big bodies here or the 0 cost event. We don't need another Cavendish. We already have one in hand. We are going to swing in for 5 at the Law, get the blocker out of the way. We don't want them countering out aggressively, continuing to, get tempo. We leave the 1 active. Not that it's necessary. We definitely could have not done that just because of the Sengoku. But now if they want to swing the Sengoku here, we just rest down the Sengoku. And then we could block out to save it, but we have another one in hand, so I'm not too worried about saving this Jewelry Bonney. It is a nice card to have, but more than likely now they Jozu, bounce back our Cavendish, bounce back their Sengoku. Yep, just as expected, basically taking us off curve here, which is going to be very good for what they're trying to do. Now what we can do is, if we play down Cavendish, we get 2 back. We play down Smoker, because now they shouldn't be Jozuing. We will have 2, so we swing in at their life for 5. If we swing in at their life for 5, what kind of position does that put us in? Because we freeze down the Jozu with the Carrot next turn. Next turn, we Cavendish and Carrot, because we'll be on 9. So that sounds like the better play to me. We play down Smoker. We set 1 Dawn as active, so now we can go for a Bonney. We will swing in for 5. We should have swung in for 5 first, so if they take this, which they shouldn't, they should counter out aggressively. That's what their deck does. They give us the character we already knew in their hand, so now we play down a different Bonney, search the top of the deck. They could have a Red Rock, so the Eustace Captain Kid is not great, so just because we know we're going to be playing this on the next turn. I don't mind having another 2k here over the Eustace Captain Kid. It may seem crazy to some of you, but I think that's the best option. We're going to put Doflamingo at the top because that's going to be really good against this deck. And now we should be in a very safe spot. It's going to be hard for them to remove this Bonney without giving up their whole turn, unless they just play some bounce characters. They could just also Gravity Blade both of these options and then swing into the Bonney, clearing our whole board. But the next turn we continue on. So we can also 8-drop Rosinante, get Cavendish, have 3 Dawn, depending on what they swing into. Or we could play out Carrot, and then if we have 3 Dawn, we can stand 1 back up with Smoker after that, because we have to do it in the proper sequencing here. So this is your first time probably seeing the Smoker in our hand. We do have Tizzy joining us over here. They swing in for 8. We're going to leader effect, resting down their character. We're going to take the 8. We're not too stressed about it. We have another Smoker. It looks like a Gravity Blade is coming out here for 7. They could also just play a Doflamingo, which would be very obnoxious for us. Bottom decking a 5 cost, I believe. Or maybe bouncing 1 if they play the Borsalino. It's one of those 2 that does that, so we're going to have to just hope for the best. It looks like it's probably going to be a Gravity Blade, and they will get to draw an additional card into their hand. And then we're going to be playing down Cavendish into Carrot on the next turn, because playing these 2 out usually means you'll have the 1 extra Dawn for your leader effect, so we could swing 7. Ooh, bottom decking the 1, drawing card. That's going to be very interesting, playing down their Law, so now we can't attack here, which is totally okay. So what's the best option to take? Do we go 8-drop Rosinante into Carrot, freeze this, get 1 back, swing in 6? Or do we go Carrot and Cavendish, but then we don't get the big body. I like getting the big body with the safety here, so I think that's what we're going to do, kind of saving these from KO effects though, so that's not going to be as good. I think we go for this though just because it can't get hit with a gravity blade like the other characters can, so we're going to swing in for, it looks like 5. No, we're going to swing in for 6 because the smoker still has its effect, it just can't attack. So swing in for 6, then we H-drop Rosinante into Carrot, and then we get 1 back for smoker effect. They should counter out again aggressively because, again, that's just what this deck does. We're going to let it slide, let it go. Play down this, bring out a Carrot. We're going to freeze down the Jozu, restand 1 Dawn, and pass the turn. So now they only have the 2 swings because we freeze down the Jozu, putting us in a very advantageous position that we don't have to really worry about their board too much. And if that blocker becomes a problem, we can easily remove that as well. So we still have the Cavendish. We have another smoker to put down if we need to. It finally should be able to swing. They should be possibly playing a 10 drop. A 10 drop would be bouncing 2 of our characters back to hand, probably the smoker and the Rosinante, or they could do the Rosinante and the Rosinante, but more than likely it should be the smoker and the Rosinante just because they're stronger. The Rosinante would just play out the smoker and then we'd be all back in the same position, so we would be okay. All right, buddy. If you're gonna sit there and bite, we're not gonna play around. All right. We're sitting there with what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11k counter, so we're still in a really good spot, actually. They're trying to decide what to do. They may not even have the 10 drop. We saw them go for the Boa on the last turn, bottom decking our Bonney, which did kind of suck, but it's totally okay with us. It's part of the game. Hi, buddy. Oh, let me get that little tear out your eyes. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're still waiting on this Boa. They are taking their time to decide, which I totally understand. Me, I kind of, not that I know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. So I'm not too worried about what's going on in the board state, and I'm not too worried about taking aggressively because we do have a blocker still on the board from way earlier, and I think getting down to 2 is our safety net here. It does suck because they're still at 5, so we are falling behind in a way, but not really. We have a strong board. I think they just need to be able to Gravity Blade. If they can Gravity Blade, swing 11 into Rosinante, forcing us to block. That's probably what I would expect. So we're just going to rest down their leader. They know we're going 9. We're going to take this again. I know that's going to be crazy to some people, but that's going to be the best. They bottom deck a 7 cost or lower. They get rid of our Carrot. So what we're going to do here, it looks like, is, we are going to top deck of the Sentry. Because I think we go 5, 7, and then 8 here into our opponent. They should counter out of this pretty aggressively. They should block out of the 7k Banish and then the 8 into face. We're going to 10 drop on them, freeze, and then we have the parallel idea to go Cavendish into Smoker. Cavendish into Carrot being another great option just because it would freeze one character, but we wouldn't remove the other. So I think just having the 10 on board is going to be very safe for us. They take the Banish. Very interesting. They should take this one as well then if they're going to take the Banish. If they block out of this one, it's just a misplay, a complete blunder. They should just take the 8. Because if you're going to take a 7 Banish, you should take an 8 as well. So it depends on what they're going to do here. I guess all we can see is see. All we can do is do. We're going to play down the 10 drop Doflamingo, freeze these 3 characters, restand our Dawn as active and pass. So now if they want to swing in with the Mihawk, we tap down the Law, basically giving them no blocker on the board. We block out for ourselves or counter out aggressively. And you can see we're getting in a very, very advantageous position. We only need to remove 1 body on their board, or maybe 2 depending on this Mihawk and what they do. So we should be very safe here. We can swing in 7 with Banish on the next turn. They do Gravity Blade, removing both of our 5 costs, but we can easily just play those back out thanks to Cavendish and Smoker effects. So we can get 3 Dawn back here. So if we top deck something that's a low cost, maybe a blocker, which they did get rid of our blocker right there, we should be good. They're going to swing in 12 into our Rosinante, which we will counter out of aggressively. Very, very aggressively. Because, 12 into us? I'm going to freeze down your blocker, and I think I'm just going to take. I think I'm okay with this race. Ooh, I don't like that though. So we're gonna go 10. I think we're gonna go 5 into the blocker. We could also just go straight in the face, but I don't think that's worth it. We're gonna go 5 into the blocker here. We're gonna be able to freeze down one of these characters, so preferably we'll swing into the smaller character. So what can we do here? We Carrot and then Cavendish, get 2 Dawn back. So then, or we could Carrot Smoker, get 1 Dawn back. We could go 8 and then 10 into the character. Let's go 8 into 7 here and see what they decide to do. If we were to go Carrot, I just like having the counter more right now for the Cavendish. And then we can just freeze down the Boa. They only have 1 swing after that. Should be putting us in a better spot. But the Cavendish may just be the better option because 5, 5. Let's go 10. But if we don't remove it, then that puts us in a very bad spot. So I think we'd be a little greedy to go for another Smoker here. And we can use the Cavendish over and over again. So we know we can go 5, and then this is 3. We'll still have 1 active, so we can go 11 into Jozu, and that would be 3 cards out of hand, which we're okay with. So now we're going to Cavendish, and then Carrot, freeze their character, pass with 1 active. We have a great amount of counter. We still have this as a 2K, technically. They choose to putting us here, which is still okay with us. We're actually not too worried about that. As bad as that may seem to some players, I don't think that was horrible. We lose a ton of cards in hand. I think we're still okay. They have 6. They could Red Rock or Doflamingo. I think that would be their best option if they had a Red Rock. If they don't, though, I think we're really safe because, I mean, honestly, we can probably just go for game and win next turn. We also have 2 blockers in hand, so I'm not too stressed about it, honestly. And if we could just top deck something crazy, that would also be nice. So it is what it is either way. I think we're totally okay with whatever happens here. It really depends on our opponent. They could also just swing all out into one of our characters, and then we just rest down their leader. Something like that wouldn't be horrible for us. This carrot's going to be very annoying for them. We can also just drop down another 1, get Dawn back. Play down, we need 5, 10. We have 12 Dawn right now, thanks to Cavendish. If we played on a Smoker, we technically could have 13, which would be very good. So now we're going to freeze down the leader. They shouldn't have anything to do for 6, so we will just take. If they have a Rush Usopp, we're safe still, so we will take aggressively. I know that might seem crazy, but even if they Gravity Blade, we should still be safe. They bounce back our carrot more than likely, in my opinion, but we should be good here. What did they bounce back, though? That's the question. They bounce back the Pudding. 8-drop Kid. 8-drop Kid. Is this our saving grace? We have a lot of counter. It means we wouldn't have to go for game as well. They get rid of our extra Dawn, so we can't just like go crazy on them. I think 8-drop Kid would be bad though if they had a Red Rock. That's the only worry that I have. So we have 1 additional Dawn. No, we have no additional Dawn. So we're gonna go 5 in a face here and kind of vibe check them. They should counter out here, I'm assuming, because they know we're not playing Rush. Obviously we could be playing Rush here. We're gonna swing in for 6, freeze down the Boa. I think we are gonna go for the Useless Captain Kid. I think that makes the most sense in this situation, because even if they do have a way to Red Rock it, they would only have 4 Dawn. They could swing in for, what, 13? Can we get out of 13? 2, 4? No, because we still have a blocker too, so they would have to split, so we would still be safe. So now we're gonna swing in for 8. If they can't counter out of this, we're gonna go 10 into face. If they can, we're gonna go, yep, so now it's gonna be 10 into face. We are helping them find more options for later, but this is about all we have. So rest down our character, play out Rosinante just in case. This is gonna help with KO. Obviously they don't play KO anyway, so it is what it is. They could Red Rock this, draw. They can't even draw a card, which is really good, so it does not replace itself because of the swings and how strong they were. So this may be our saving grace right here, this Useless Captain Kid. That's our hope. So we're sitting on 2, 4, 5, 6, 7K counter. Pudding would not be too bad against us right now. I mean, we'd lose 1 card, but I think with us having, what I say, 7K counter, if they Red Rock this, they have to split the next 4 Dawn between Leader and Mihawk, which would be 9 and 9, so we block and then counter. Yeah, I think we're totally completely safe here. As long as we can win on the clapback, we should be safe. That's my biggest worry, is just winning on the clapback. If they go 12 into Useless Captain Kid and they bottom deck our Rosinante and our Carrot, we would still be safe as well. Being able to even bypass that and go an additional turn, hopefully top decking a Hody Jones would be beautiful right now, because we have no life to take anyway. So, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? They play the 10 Kaido. Very interesting here. So we're going to freeze down or rest down Jozu. We're going to no blocker. We're going to 2K, 2K, 1K. And then all we need is the 1K. We showed them we still have the Rosinante. So we can give them the Barto, actually, and then just go for game. Hey, GG's to our opponent. That was still a close one. They were going to be able to bottom deck a 4-coster lower with the Red Rock. Doesn't do anything to us. They only had 1, 2, 3, 4K counter, so we were going to swing 9. That was going to go through. Then we were going to swing everything else on Doflamingo. So GG's. That was the last game. I hope you enjoyed Bonney. That was all the green matchups. We're going to be diving into the next color next, where we spin the wheel, do all that stuff. You've already seen how it goes. If you didn't check out red, that was the other day. If you didn't check out yellow, that was the other day. So like, subscribe. I want to do these live for you guys, like give you a full breakdown, detail, all that stuff. I'll be at Chicago Collecticon this weekend, so if you are there, please stop by and say hey. I don't have stickers yet, but I'm getting Mr. Pow stickers, so those are going to be super cool. They will also go in my TCG player store, which is linked down below as well if you want to buy some cardboard from ya boy. And I will see you next time. I love you and your mama. Peace. Join the Discord.